Hello again on this internet full of education. Thanks for being here. We are having an exciting 4 lessons prepared for you, and it's all about your project. So stay tuned. Here we go. So what are we going to do? We're going to give you the opportunity to develop a project by yourself, and I will try to guide you via these online lessons, and it will go from initial idea to your final concept. And what do you have to think about, how to let your idea progress, and preparation, and then finally get there. Most of it, what I'm going to teach now, is based on previous lessons that I did before. Technique, portraiture, long exposure. So you can always go back to the library of the Blue Mountain Creative Space, and you can find what inspires you the most. All right. So during this course, I want to say, take it easy. It's not a stress job. Take the steps that you're comfortable with, and you can go on any level that you feel comfortable with, and you have time enough. You will build up experience as you go. I really recommend you to go along with these 4 lessons, because it gives you a framework and some guidance that to do it on your own is a little bit more difficult. You have the feeling that you forget, that it's overwhelming. So I would say step in the train and go along with us. There will be enough time to practice and do some tryouts. So it's not that I give you an assignment today and tomorrow you have it ready. You have a whole week for one specific thing, and there are 4 weeks. So no pressure, no deadlines. So the first lesson that we're gonna attack is the concept, or your idea, or what shall I do as my subject. So right now, and I want to emphasize that, is that you have nothing. You have maybe a fake idea, and maybe that idea will come tomorrow or today or whatever. Do not worry, it's not substantial yet. And that's the whole point. Often when you have the feeling that you have to be creative and you have to write something or photograph something, you have the feeling you have to do it instantly good. It's got to be this flash of inspiration and everything is in there. Most of the time, that's not happening like that. It starts with something very, very vague or very unsubstantial. But along the way, and that's why we do this in 4 lessons, along the way you start to give it more body and gives you more confidence, and then you execute the idea, and then you finish it and you print it and you look back and say, okay, that was gradually a great exercise. So if you have an idea, write it down. Any idea. What you would like to photograph. There must be something, if you love photography, that you always wanted to but never did before, or you did it before and you want to do it real good. All right, so the first step, how about to talk about some ideas? The image here is not really relevant. It's more like you might have a lot of ideas, but not sure which one to choose from. It doesn't matter, actually. Even if you use these 4 lessons as a good idea, not your most favorite idea, at least it's going to be an experience which makes it easier for you to do the next time even better. And I tell you, this is kind of the method I use for my big project when I rent a studio and have crew and, you know, the whole production thing. So it's based on how to tackle that. So you can do a story about someone. someone in your neighborhood, someone in your family, maybe a certain person in your village. It doesn't matter. If you have somebody you can you connect to, you have admiration for, or are inspired by, maybe a teacher, it doesn't matter so much. Whatever feels good for you. You can also choose a thing, a product, maybe your camera. Find something that you are connected to, that gives you inspiration. A place, maybe the place where you live, maybe the place where you used to be living, a town, maybe your car, maybe you have a classic car, or you have a new car, or you have a car that is, you put a lot of accessories to it, so you can tell a story about that car. A club, a team, anything. Basically anything is possible. What you do is you choose something and then you focus in it and then you give it more thought. So if you have an idea about something, you can start using the following questions. You might have heard it before. Who, what, when, where, and why. It's really easy. It's 5 W's. It's really easy to use that when you are busy with your idea. Now, I want to emphasize right now that don't make it difficult now. It's only to get your inspiration. You have a week to play with inspiration. You have a week to come up with an idea, to think about something. Don't think about practical things, because that's going to be next week episode, and then we take it from there. So give yourself a week to play around with your idea. If you have an idea, you can think about the 5 W's. Who, just to give it a little bit more clarity for yourself. This is, before I did this shoot, I kind of did who, what, where, and when. I had to make an assignment about a farmer who is expanding his produce in the neighborhood, who was getting popular more and more, and he was doing very well. And I wanted to make a good portrait of him. So I thought, what is typically important in this with this person? Well, he has his land, his farms, his barn, and everything. So a barn would be good. I used an extra light to make sure that he was really clear, and you know, I wanted to make a pose that he was really serious about it all, and so I made this image. But before I did all this, I questioned myself: where do I want to do it? Who is it? He's a farmer. Okay, then it's really got to be a farm. So you can keep discussing with yourself, questioning yourself about your subject. You can also do, so we had story, you can do story, you can do a series. A series about beauty, family, animals or pets, which is very easy in time of lockdown. You use your own pets. Food, pandemic. The pandemic is also very interesting because you have empty streets. You have people that stand in front of their window. If you make photos now of these times here in Ontario during lockdown, there is hardly anybody on the street, and that's something you will not see again very soon. Spring, flowers are getting through, the colors of the field, anything. Streets at night, which is a subject. You can make a series of streets at night. You can make like 3-4 beautiful photos of different streets at night, and then you have to use your technique to do that, and I explained it to you already. But you can make like 6 or 10 images. It's called a series, and then it's clear that you paid all the attention to specific subject. A day in the life of, it can be you. You can make a day in the life of yourself, which is very interesting. So series allows you to tell a story over several images. So it is a story, and you stay in a kind of the same series style. And with every image you reveal something special. And that's the beauty actually from a series, that it's typically something you cannot tell in one photo. You need more photos to reveal how it is. So if you have spring, you can make one photo of a flower coming through as the first flower after the winter. But you can make that in different stages, and you have different flowers, and you have different stages, and you can do wonderful things with that. So I would say be free, roam your own inspiration, check out what is it what you feel attracted to. I love to do series. It's a great way to go deeper into something with your imaging. Oh, here's for example what I did with food. And you see, I keep it all the same kind of style and the same kind of light. If you make a series and you use different lights and different places, and it's hard to say it's a series. A series needs to be bonded together by style. So you got to keep light and position and kind of the intensity of the photo, got to keep it the same. Another one of the series, this was Canadian summers. I've showed this previously in another lessons. How do I experience Canadian summers or Ontario summers? And I made a whole series of it. These are just 9 photos. I really love to do it because you collect more and more about a certain object. Okay, then we have documentary. Remember I did a documentary lesson about documentary and lifestyle. About a day in isolation. It's an ideal subject. And if the pandemic will leave and it's not coming back, then you have a unique set of photos that you probably never do again. Your family, a documentary about a painter you know, or a musician, sunset over the lake, very different. Street photography, not many people on the street, but that's exactly what you can express. Documentary on the farm, or kids not returning at school. So there's a ton of things, and it's all about you choosing what you like to do. Oh yeah, here's an example of somebody using a cell phone to make a documentary. Very interesting. So it doesn't have to be fancy and all set up. It can also be a day in the life. Good. So as I said in the beginning, the idea always looks very small, and you're not sure if it's going to be good or not. It's just the seed that you have, and then when you give it water, it will grow into a plant or maybe into a tree. So be patient with yourself and accept that the ideas that you have can be really, really almost ethereal or hard to define yet. Maybe it's just a feeling. That's a good point. Most of my images that I worked on as a large project, I think it was just a feeling, like an idea, and then you try to shape it into reality. But it will grow when you follow it, and then it becomes real and maybe even awesome. Just choose something that inspires you, like a book or a movie or a special person. All right, step 2. So after you sat down and pondered about your idea, step 2, write down your thoughts and feelings. I would really recommend freely and uncensored. Nobody's going to read it. It's not going to be a book. It doesn't matter. It's just that when you start writing or drawing, let it go, let it go. And even if you write things that are not even connected to the subject, it doesn't matter. Let yourself freely go. Do not judge yourself. Just let it go. You can write down thoughts and feelings about this specific person, this place, or this thing, any of the subject that we mentioned before. Use the 5 W's, like who, what, when, where, and why. But do not think in practical terms yet. We're going to do that next week. Because if you start thinking straight away on the idea that you have, practical things, practical thinking is more dominant than the inspiration. And it will kind of push away your idea. And then later you think like, what was exactly my core inspiration? So don't go in practical things yet. After these 5 W's, it's even if it's fantasy, yeah, use your fantasy. It doesn't matter, go for it. Let the idea and feeling flow. You can make drawings. Imperfect drawings are the best because you don't want to make a perfect drawing because then you put already so much energy of that final image in the drawing and you're going to make a photo anyway. So as long as you understand what you draw, it's good. Add notes to the drawing. That's what I do very, very often. I already say, okay, I need to have like, this is going to be shadow. I make a drawing of a person. I'm not a really good drawer. I put the note in there, 20% light from there and 80% light from there. Sitting in the chair, make some notes, what you think is good. All right, this will help you to give your ideas form. You don't have to be an expert. Start simple. Step 3. Okay, after you made this first idea or draft, that's probably in 2 days or 3 days. So don't do it straight away, right? You can go more into detail. You can think when you make a drawing about a composition, how you want to position somebody in front of the camera. Remember, of all the space that you have around you, almost like a bubble, it's this particular frame that you are choosing, not this frame, not that frame, but you like this frame. So you make a choice and celebrate that choice. So composition is a tool to give balance to the image or disbalance, whatever you want, and to give it a better how your eyes will look at the picture and how you will be drawn into the picture. Colors or a certain tone, you can think about that too. Do you want to have a moody black and white or very grayish, a lack of colors and tone? Do you want to make it pop? Do you want to have a lot of white around it? You can start looking for images that kind of attract you or feel similar to the idea that you have. Don't get lost in internet and Google and all that kind of stuff. Try to keep it simple for yourself. You can think about light. Do you want to have natural light or do you want to have artificial light from a window? There's so many choices. Do you want to have a movement in your image or your person or maybe the animals that the pets that you're gonna do, or do you want to put your camera down and have a long exposure so people are moving through the image? Black and white, color, it's all choices. Does it feel good to have a lot of contrast in your image or softer tones? What expresses the best your idea? Just a couple of visual ideas. The person running in the photo, I want to add a little bit of a depth of field, but also the beauty of fall. So yeah, it's a sports photo, but then with a lot of emphasis on the nature. Then you have somebody of a business who makes saunas. So you put them in the environment of his own factory in the saunas, or a runner through the forest that eats miles. So yeah, just some examples. Reminder. And I think I said that before in documentary and lifestyle photography lessons. You can have a story without interpretation, almost that you want to document it, like news and street photography. It's not, you don't put your opinion in it, but you can also do a story with your expression, how you see it, and others can interpret it any way they like, but it's your expression. So if you have, for example, if you do more documentary, it's not bad to use black and white, because it gives less of typical color preferences and all that kind of stuff. You just want to document the moment. But maybe you want to do like a busy street, or, well, that's not going to happen right now, but give it a lot of colors, give it a lot of mood. That's then your expression. So whatever you feel attracted to. It can be art, expression, it's just your story. Right, but again, always go back to your feeling or your intention or your inspiration or your idea. That's the core, and that will keep you will keep that as a red line through your whole story if you build it up. Because always what you go back to, if you don't have that feeling in the beginning or that inspiration, when you're so busy with all practical things, you think like, oh, whoa, what was it again? I forgot it, and it's your compass, let's say it like that. So in the next lesson we will move into practicality, and it will be all about plan your work, work your plan. So I had a teacher that constantly said to us, plan your work, work your plan. Kind of annoying if you as a student, but he was totally right. He was totally right. So this is my COVID isolation photo. Sometimes I feel good, sometimes I feel less, and sometimes I don't know, right? It's all mixed. I had to set this up with the studio lights and all that kind of thing. But don't forget that if you do bigger projects, like we start right now, it's really, really worthwhile to plan your work and work your plan. So, next week we come back with another lessons, but if you have any questions, and I keep this screen on for a minute, just ask me via email, Tjalling, tbmcs@gmail.com. You can ask me anything about the project. If you doubt about things, if you just want to have some feedback, I'm here to guide you through this project. I love to do it, so please reach out if you have any questions about it, and let's make this a guided project. But in the end, it's your idea and it's your final result, and we will end up with printing the images, because then you can see the result in its best form. So again, I hope that you will give yourself time. Sit in a chair, or you sit outside with a pen and paper, and choose an idea. What is the thing that you are attracted to? What is your passion? What is your curiosity lead you to? It's all about giving time for yourself to lay that egg. That's going to be like a beautiful project. Give yourself time. It's really fun to do it, and most of the time I found the inspirational time kind of the best, because then I could start fantasizing or you know, it's all you. It's not. It has nothing to do with the camera. It has nothing to do with equipment. It's generally your idea. So again, email me if you have questions, and I can help you further set up. And then next week, you come to the lessons with your idea, and I will tell you how to go step by step and what to think of. And then the week after, we will do how to shoot and how to work it out. And then the week after is post-production and print. I hope that sounds good. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again next week. Bye-bye.